Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, once again we are back here, Formula 1. We are currently in China for the Grand Prix. Sure that everything is working. Sorry about the tabbing out. I'm being that is on way fine now. And here we are. We're currently 13 minutes 50 seconds into qualifying. As Stan has just set the fastest lap time on 1:31.4. Lipple up, of course, my dude. So Stan is currently P1 on qualification, 1:31.4, and Lipilop is currently in the pits. Let's see if Jack can get a good lap time for his first lap. 1:32.8, very good, right? Zenax currently on his out lap. Lewis is currently on an out lap as well. Lewis is really strong within qualification. Really strong. And we're going to see what is coming. And there's currently a yellow flag. And it is very busy at that time. Okay. We're currently going to be coming on board with Lewis on his outward lap here. He is a one to watch within qualifying, and we currently start. And looks good from here. And China is a very good circuit, and it's a purple in sector 1 for Lewis so far. Let's see if he can carry it on within sector 2. Currently coming into sector 2 now. Good control using all sides of the track, which is lovely to see. Following up on the curb here, in control, very much so. And it's a purple in sector 2, purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2. Let's see if we can do. Got yellow flags galore here on the track. Currently 6 cars out so far. Here we are. Second to last corner here. One more corner to do. Has he got there? And there we are. It's just P2. Oh, whoa. Just a 0.10th of a second off Stan. Keep an eye out for Lewis and Stan this qualifying session, guys, because it's going to be a big one. Right, here we are here. We're on board. I don't know what's going on. I believe that the Haas Tasty Spoons is currently running low on fuel. It's currently locked up there coming into the pit lane. But rest assured, all okay, no accident caused. And going into the pit lanes now. Okay. Lipilop CPB have still not set any laps at this moment in time. So that's how it's laid out for now. Lucky Boy is starting his lap here. The yellow flag in sector 3. Go back to that shortly. So Lucky Boy here. Sector 2 and sector 3 yellow flags. Within Sector 3, it looks very bunched though. Very, very bunched though. Yeah, some of the drivers have got to be careful regarding that. But let's see now, Lucky Boy 545. Currently coming into Sector 2. He's currently just gone on the grass, just a slight touch, however, he still remained in control. And he's took that quarter quite wide. That's going to lose him some valuable seconds there with a bit of oversteer. Trying to recover from not spinning out. Let's see what he can do. He's currently going on to the long back straight now on Sector 3. He needs to put as much power as he can in. And there he is, discharging his battery, as you can see from his steering wheel here. Going straight in as you can. Taking the turn very, very nicely. Takes that corner. Nice, very well done. Very well controlled here. Let's see where he ends up on the grid. Lukey Boy, his P10. A strong lap from him. A lot to improve on, but once again, a strong first lap. Lippy Lock PC and CPB are still in the pits for now. They still haven't came out of the pit so far, I believe. And Lewis is on his outward lap here. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. As I said, he's very, very close from pole sitter Stan. And Stan's currently in the pits for now, probably changing his tyres. Because once again, you want to make sure that the tyres you are on have got the least wear. Your best chance of the race. And there we are. Who we've spoken to before, PTRS, who was the winner of the Grand Prix in Vietnam. He's currently sitting at P3 for now. And as I said, from the interview we had last with him, he said he feels very confident himself and his pit team. So it'll be good to see what can happen then so far in this race today. Okay, so Lewis is still on his outward lap here on Sector 3, back straight. And there's a yellow flag which is coming up for Lewis. Oh, and someone seemed, Stan Vestrella has come off the pit lane. But he seems okay, all in control. And it's the Williams of the Gardner hitter. He is currently in low fuel mode, I believe, which is causing the yellow flags. He's currently in the pit lane now, so the track hazard has gone, which is good to see. And it means that everyone can get back into racing. Lucky Boy is well coming into the pits, probably to get more fuel and to get a change of tyres. Dan is still currently in the pits. Lewis is on his lap here. Just done his outward lap, so we'll stay on board for Lewis for the duration of the lap, see if he can improve on Stan. Clouds do look quite grey, so need to make sure that it's not raining during the qualifying session. And all in all, it doesn't rain on race day, which means that all the drivers here will have to be put on the mandatory wets and intermediate tyres. And he needs to put as much force as he can coming into the back straight. It looks very, very well controlled through the big half hairpin. And the two drivers there moving out of the way of Lewis. Because them two drivers know that if, you know, the speed that Lewis can do is absolutely phenomenal. And you don't want to be stuck behind him, especially in a qualification centre. Is there going to be an improvement for Lewis? I don't think there will be. I'm not too sure. Yeah, a 131.5. It's so close. You couldn't write it. It's so close between Stan and Lewis. And it's going to be a big battle between them. Only 5 minutes remaining left in the qualification session. So I think what some drivers need to do is time it perfectly. Oh, okay. So CPB and Lippy Law are currently, and Lippy Law has spun out there. I don't know what's going on with these two right here right now. Both of them are just... I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I mean, they're causing a danger. I'll put it that way. No, there's only 4 minutes 25 seconds remaining, folks. You need to get into the pits, change your tyres, refuel, and go out and make sure that you get past the finish line beforehand. Okay, anyway. There we are. Jack SCF is going into the pits. There he goes. And here we are here. Outlap now for PTRS and Alec B. Also Stan Bastrella, Snoopy.x and Lone Ranger. And Lone Ranger has stopped there. I believe he was letting the Ferrari pass him. There's some parts of this circuit where it's really hard to stay off the racing line, especially when you're just saving charge for an outward lap. You know, and there he is again pulling over for the Red Bull. Alec B passes him there. Alec B with a purple sector 1. Let's see how he does. Looking good so far. It's starting to rain, as I did say. Oh, and there's a bit of a spin from Alec B. Well recovered, however, but it is going to lose some valuable time. The tiniest rotation on that wheel can cause so much time loss. Here he is now going onto the back straight of Sector 3. This is the time when you can get as much power as possible. Using every bit, and its track limitations have come on for Alec B. That is going to be so devastating for himself and his pit team. And once again for PTRS as well, you know, the wet conditions on the soft tyres are causing an absolute nightmare out there for our drivers. It'll be interesting to see now. I can't see anyone improving if Lewis can get a good lap, because it's just currently spinning out after spinning out. There's no time now, I believe. There's no time to go into the pits and get a fresh set of wets or intermediates on. Intermediates would be the chosen tyre. I would suspect the track's not too wet. And we have got yellow flags here. And drivers have just got to be careful now going through the corners. You don't want to damage the car. Vicky Boy is slowing down for traffic behind him. And they can get past the finishing line here, so they are able to do one more lap. Just need to keep in mind now the wet track is going to be causing some sort of difficulty, losing time. It's not so much that you get into pole, you just need to improve on your current sit. Now, however, with PTRS, Dan and Lewis, it's going to be very hard to do that because you're pushing your car full throttle. And, you know, you've already got to podium sit. So, majority of people's times, which they have now, which are currently on the left hand side of the screen, they were done in the dry. Now, in the wet, I don't see how that's possible. It's going to be a very, very, very tough order. And Lewis is currently, I think he's stopped qualifying. There's quite a lot of people who've stopped qualifying, if I'm honest. The Red Bull stuck on the side, and I believe that belongs to Alec B. I think he has run out of fuel, and he is going to have to be recovered by the marshals. Tasty Spoons as well has retired from the session. 5 seconds to go. PTRS now 1:17. Let's see what he can do. It's so difficult for these drivers here. You've got to feel a bit of sympathy for them. No one was expecting rain. Surely I wasn't expecting rain. I was expecting it to be nice and dry because at the start of the qualifying session. And there we are. No improvement with PTRS. Snoopy.X, Lone Ranger are the last ones to cross the line. So how it sits so far, and I believe it will sit into going into race. So pole position is Stan with a 131.4. And then 0.6 seconds from himself is Lewis in P2. PCRS is P3, regarding just 0.7 seconds off Lewis. And PCRS for company has got Alec B with a 132.2, Jake H with a 132.23. That is just a 0.100th of a second between them two. That will be very interesting to watch. Jello, who's normally a very strong contender, is in a P6 on a 132.4. Tasty Spoons with a 132.5. Leaky Boy with a 132.6. Jack with a 132.8. Stenex for a 132.9. Sam Estrella with a 133.1. Jargon with a 133.7. Snoopy.X or 134.3. And that is what's going to tie it down for the Chinese Grand Prix. Qualifying session over now, so we are waiting to start the race. And there we are then, there is the standings so far. And from what I can see here, Lipilop and CPB did not set a lap time. Seeing footage of themselves on the second to last corner of the Grand Prix. Don't know what was going on there. I don't know whether there was a little confrontation or colossal or any technical faults between the two drivers, whether there was a collision or not, but I'm not too sure. However, no time set for them, so they will be starting at the back of the grid. Here we are then, outside of the pits for the race. It is going to be a really, really good one. PTRS with a P1. McLaren are looking to step up to the plate again for the Chinese Grand Prix to get valuable points on the board. Very, very important for all drivers involved. Unfortunately, due to Formula One multiplayer, it has automatically kicked all drivers and myself out of the session. We're going to blank screen for now, and I will speak to you in a moment while we make sure that everything was going on. here we are, folks, with the race a moment away on the Chinese Grand Prix. Very exciting to see. Lovely view of all the pit garages there. Got Mercedes on the right, Ferrari. And here we are here, moments away. It's lights out and away we go here at the Grand Prix. Very good start from all drivers. And here we are, Stan is taking it, very good. And Lewis is taking him on. And we've got a Sector 1 here. I believe it has been a crash between Sanex and Stan Vestrella in the back. And there is more pit strategy there, predicted, sponsored by AWS. And one-stop strategy here. And Snoopy.x has just had a big crash with Gardner Hitler. And I don't know what's going on. A safety car has been sent. I believe a safety car has been done. I'm not too sure why. And Stan Vestrella is just coming on. And what an eventful start for this Grand Prix. No retirements here, so there must be a big chunk of debris from the crash into turn 1. Between Stanex and Stan Vestrella. Absolutely unbelievable. Safety car conditions have been launched. Apologies once again for that, viewers. I just seen that then. I was able to do it. That was one of my personal overlays. However, we normally do have an overlay here, a virtual racing. However, weren't able to use it due to technical difficulties. So what we decided is to make sure that the action was covered without doing it. So Stan is using a safety car conditions for a free pit stop. I'd imagine quite a lot of drivers are going to come in, but not all are. There we are, Stan here, getting the mediums fitted. It's a double stack here. Will that work? Stan and Jello. And Jello is going on the hard tyres. That might be a really big game changer for himself. If there's another safety car in this race, then he will be able to fit them. But very good. And it's another one from CPB as well on the hards himself. CPB and Jello using the hard tyre, which can last them all right. And here we are here. So we've currently got Lewis, who's leading the race. PTRS second, Alec B third, Tasty Spoons fourth, Jargon fifth, JH sixth, Lippy Lop seventh. Jack is a both Mercedes now are between each other. Once again, a predicted pit stop strategy sponsored by AWS. Lap 5 out of 8 would be for everyone who has not pitted so far. So the teams, the drivers who have not pitted so far, we have got quite a lot of people who still haven't pitted. Lewis, PTRS, Alec B, Tasty Spoons, Jargon, JH, Lippy Lop, Jack and Lone Ranger. Sinex has not pitted also. And the people who have stopped are Stan, Jello, Lukey Boy, CPV, Snoopy.x and Stan Vestrella. And a retirement, unfortunately, for Guardrail Hitter. And that is the Williams team, who are not going to be carrying on in this race so far. And it is, Lewis is very close to that safety car there. He needs to be careful because any collision with the safety car would be bad. The drivers have got to be careful here. I understand that they want to get close to one another for the restart, but the safety car is not in this lap. Still being recovered. Stan Vestrella is catching up to the pack as much as he can. Now I believe that we've got a Renault here. A Renault is going into the pits. Lone Ranger is in the pits. Let's see what tyre he is going to be changing to. We will keep updated for now. Lone Ranger getting the mediums on with a new front wing. That is a very, very good way to do it. And Jello has just got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with his teammate. This is absolutely extraordinary. Now that is going to be saying something in the McLaren garage right now. Don't know what went on there. Unfortunately, we didn't have the live coverage on themselves, but we will have an interview with one of them explaining what went on there. That is not going to be good for Jello. Last race they finished P2 and P3 here, but that penalty is going to really knock Jello off his course. And he has got front wing damage as well. His blade is, and once again, it's very close. This is the thing with safety cars. It is so, you've got to be so careful. You've got to be really, really generous with the gas. But not too much, because one slight mistake and that is it. You could get a severe collision. You could get damage to your vehicle. And then that means you will have to do another pit stop, which is not very good, especially when we're only 3 laps in. It can really make you lose some time, especially on the race start when we get the green flag restarting the race. And I would imagine that the safety car is going to come in this lap. Big gap between the safety car and the cars themselves. And that is just what Lewis wants. He wants to make sure that everyone is packed between him. And then coming into the second to last corner, that's when you put the throttle down and you make the gap. You need to be quite greedy. You need to take as much as you can, because there are currently, Lewis, 15 drivers behind you who are hungry and ready for that podium finish. Safety car is in. And Lewis has took it wide, but he's still recovered. And here we go then. Green flag, lap 4 out of 14 here in the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis has got quite a good start, but not as much as he intended to want, I don't believe. It is really bunched up. PTRS now is currently fighting with Alec B. He's taking it on the outside, but Alec B is doing as best as he can, and PTRS gets the overtake, which is what you want to see. But Alec B now is trying to fight back. It's a lockup, unfortunately. But he might get the overtake, and he has. Extraordinary racing from Alec B and PTRS there from the Red Bull and the Racing Point. Extraordinary. 0.2 seconds is what decides them. 10 laps left of this race. So viewers, don't think that what you're seeing is what's going to stick. These drivers have got to put all their skill and ability in to keeping it. This is the final race of the Tier 1 racing for this weekend. We are back next weekend at the same time, covered from myself. And good start. So, looking further down the pack now. So, we have got Jack and Lippy Lop. Jack is looking really, really good at this time. And there is Jello. And as I said, Jello had to stop because of his front wing and also serve his penalty, which means he's dropped down to 15th place, but not all too bad. 10 laps remaining. Quite a lot of people who are still needing to pit. Alec B has gone into the pits there. Is that going to work out for him? I'm not too sure. Will he be on the medium tyre? He will be on the medium tyre. And the pit window is open for all the rest of the cars out there who have not pitted. And there's quite a few of them. To be frank, there are still quite a few of him who still need to stop. And also, while I was covering that pit stop there, I believe Lewis for the Alfa Romeo team has just set the fastest lap so far of this Grand Prix. It's such an unpredictable track, China. some of the turns, some of the bends, you have to be very, very, very cautious. Putting the gas on, however, another apex turn coming in China. From my personal opinion, from China, it can be quite unforgiving. One small error and that could be your race over with. So Lewis now with a great gap between himself and PTRS. They all need to stop. So 1st to 7th now, all need to stop. However, no penalties so far. 4.9 seconds between Lewis and PTRS for the racing point. However, Tasty Spoons is 0.4 seconds away. Let's see if he can make a move on PTRS. No, he can't. Can he? PTRS going wide. Can he stick to it? And Lukey Boy with a 10-second time penalty. And it's collision here. It is collision between Jargon and I believe that was Lippy Lop. And race controller enabled DRS. DRS is enabled. Oh, and it's a big shunt. Stan Vestrella is out of the Chinese Grand Prix. Lap 6 out of 14. That was a big shunt. I hope he's okay. I hope he is okay. That was a big Crash. Lukey Boy has got a drive-through penalty. No, apologies. Oh, and no, Lukey Boy has got a rear right puncture and a front wing come off. Stan Vestrella is out of the race. Sinex is serving a penalty, and that is another safety car in this lap. And Lukey Boy there is causing so hard for him. He needs to be careful there. Long range seed. Right, if I was Lukey Boy now, if I was his pit mechanic, I'd be saying, right, we're under safety car conditions. Slow it down. Just come in at a snail's pace, because it is so hard to control a Formula 1 car, even with worn out wheels, never mind a puncture on the rear right. There must have been a big contact, because a rear right puncture doesn't happen every day. Just keep it controlled, there we are. And that is gonna be a very devastating blow for Ferrari. Safety car has been deployed. So from that sense now, Jargon, his teammate, he probably, I'm not too sure if he understands what's going on with his teammate right there. But once again, safety car conditions here. Sinex for a drive-through penalty, speeding under safety car. And there we are then, Lukey Boy has got a front wing fixed, he's also got his puncture fixed, he can carry on racing. However, let's hope that what happened to the Haas 2 previous seasons where the wheel has come off, I hope that doesn't happen. Lukey Boy is slowing down, his teammate is behind him. So Sinex needs to save his drive-through penalty. If I was him, I'd do the fast in lap, come in, do this drive-through penalty, get it over with while safety car is out. Compared to when it is a green flag and a normal racing speed, you can lose so much time on a drive-through penalty. And this is a strange one here. So Jargon, who is P1, and Lippy Lop, who is P2, with Lukey Boy 15 in the middle of the safety car. It's quite a bunch at this time. And Sinex doing this drive-through penalty. As I said, this is what makes Formula 1 great. You just don't know what's gonna happen. You really don't. Jack has dropped down to P6, which isn't too bad. It's not too bad. He still has a lot of time left to fight for him. As I said, I believe the safety car is going to be out for another 1 to 2 laps potentially, due to the big crash with Stan Vestrella. Here we are then, cars bunching up, circling around, weaving about to get some temperature in them tyres. A lot of people have still just fitted them tyres on, so they need to get the temperature into them, because if the green flag comes on and they are too cold, they will just not stick to their corners. So, still 2 drivers who still have not pitted, Jargon and Lippy Lop. Surely they must come in for a pit stop now. Halfway through the race, surely they have to pit. There is no question about it, and they are not pitting. That is going to be a weird feeling. They knew the safety car was still on for this lap. They could have still missed out time. They would have missed out time. They would have been dropped in the pack. However, it's not as bad as if it's on the green flag. If they go into the pit lane now, once the race resumes, they are going to lose so much more time. It's going to make it much more difficult for themselves. And there we are. PTRS is 13th now for his second stop. Lukey Boy has been disqualified from the session for ignoring a yellow flag. Lone Ranger had 3 stops. The problem is here is the fact that Lone Ranger and PTRS, they need to catch up to that queue, because there is just not going to be sufficient time left. I do believe that Lukey Boy, it said on the message from FIA and Race Control on my screen that Lukey Boy has been disqualified for ignoring the safety car. It's not, it seems like he's still racing just yet. And it's a drive-through penalty for Lukey Boy. That's going to hurt him. That is going to hurt him. The safety car should be in this lap. And there we go. We get the notification from Race Control. Safety car is in this lap. And the second safety car has completely torn away. PTRS, who was P1 in Vietnam, is now 13th. 6 laps remaining, and there'll be 5 laps left once the safety car comes in. I think for all these drivers here, I hope they just don't want another safety car. It's always disappointing when you get into a race and there's so many safety cars. However, we'll see what goes on. Lukey Boy with another 3-second time penalty. And look at that. If we look on the Lone Ranger, needs a drive through. Lukey Boy needs a drive through. Currently P14 and P15. And Sinex for Renault, who needs a drive through. And JH for Haas and Alec B, 9th for Red Bull, need drive through penalties. Now the question is Sinex going to? Sinex is not doing it, and it's contact. There is contact. And there we are, race resuming. Lippy Lop, PC and Jargon are going after one another here. And we are going back. Let's see how this is going. So, the question is, Lewis has overtook Lippy Lop. With Lewis, his medium tyres are only 2 laps old. And there's a yellow flag for Sector 1. There's a McLaren. I believe Jello has been retired. Surely not another yellow flag. I believe that it is on the track. I am pretty sure that is on the track. That is not going to be good for Jello. And that's okay. Yellow safety car has not been produced through that incident. And that is good to see. Right, so as I was saying, from the top 3, Lewis has got 2 lap old mediums. However, Jargon, who's in Pier 1, has got 8 lap old mediums. And Lippy Lop has got 8 laps. Okay, Tasty Spoons and JH, both for the Haas, are both 1 lap old on them tyres. So that is going to be very good for them. Tasty Spoons takes Snoopy.X. A good overtake, but can he stick it into the corner? And this will be good here. And it seems that Tasty Spoons has took that from Snoopy.X for the AlphaTauri. PTRS has done superbly well to get back into 6th place. Let's see what he can do. DRS deployed. And there we go then. And there you have it. Lippy Lop PC has just lost out another place on Tasty Spoons. Is he going to lose it against PTRS as well? This is not what Mercedes want. And Jack has gone into the pits for a front wing replacement and to get on them sauce with 4 laps remaining. Maybe that is where their contact came from the restart. I'm sure we'll find out through the interviews. and from reviewing the footage just after the race. Once again, to all viewers, reminding you that interviews are taking place after every race to find out what's gone on in the drivers' heads and their thoughts and opinions throughout the whole race and so far the Grand Prix itself, the season. So, Lewis is P1. Now, it is a bit, as I said on the interview in the last race in Vietnam, PTRS did get P1 and pole finish, which was really, really strong for him, because from last weekend, Lewis was #1 in the standings, driver standings. And it seems like he's got quite a good gap now on Jargon. Tasty Spoons, PTRS, Lipulop seems to be dropping back, and where we can see that is that his tyres are 9 laps old. 9 laps old here for Lipulop. And he needs to be careful now because he's got another Haas on his tail. And Sinex with a 3-second time penalty. Alec B has gone into the pits again. Sinex is following him into the pits. And it is very, very close in the middle of the track. They are so close. However, Lewis is getting quite a big gap on. Tasty Spoons has come into second place. He's overtaken Jargon. That's due to the fact that his tyres are just so too old. If I was their pit mechanic, I would have said to Lipulop and Jargon, right, we've got a safety car, a yellow flag, make sure to pit. We can get a free pit stop, capitalise on it, and you can go out with fresh rubber. Unfortunately, as we can see here, the difference between fresh tyres and old tyres, it really does make a difference, especially on a track like China where there's a lot of turning, weaving and putting the acceleration on in Apex. It stresses the tyre, it reduces the tyre life, but it does really benefit them. So PTRS now 2 laps on a soft. He's took P3 from Jargon, and will he make it stick on the corner? Let's see. And he goes in. Fantastic driving, very well defended, very clean. It's fantastic to see. And as nearly the back end of the Ferrari for Jargon nearly just span out. And PTRS takes that quite wide, however still recovered. Don't see any damage of his vehicle so far. And Jargon is going into the pits. But the question is it too late? Is it too late for Lipulop and Jargon to change their tyres? You can see the blister on the rear right of Lipulop. The tyre was completely blistered. Lipulop and Jargon both racing as soon as they leave the pits. The question is it too late? Is it too late now to say sorry? So Lewis back with the pole sitter. 4-second gap between himself and Tasty Spoons, who is second. However, Tasty Spoons should be very, very happy with his performance so far. Haas currently in P2 and his teammate in P4. However, keep an eye on PTRS, the winner of the Vietnam. He has got 1 lap younger. His tyres are 3 laps old. Tasty Spoons are 4 laps old. However, from the medium compound to the soft compound, it means that PTRS can be a lot more aggressive down them corners where it makes him. So let's see now. Let's see on the turn. DRS was deployed there by PTRS, and it's good defending from Tasty Spoons. But the question is, can he defend it for another 2 laps? And you can just see PTRS really wants that second position, especially knowing that Lewis, who is currently first in the driver standings, is currently pole. And it's a fantastic overtake from PTRS. Fabulous overtake from himself. Racing point there. It was quite, you know, it reminded me of Senna, that overtake, to be honest. The aggression into that, you know, just putting his life on the line there, his car on the line, and that's what the sport is all about. Absolutely sensational racing from PTRS. It's a shame we couldn't get a better angle from that, but I think we all seen that there, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic racing from them both. Now let's see what's going on behind the pack. 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. You can see here that Lipulop has finished, has come out in front of Jargon, which is good to see. Lipilop now, seeing if he can take Sinex and the two Renaults, both on the medium compounds for the Renaults. Lone Ranger tyres are 7 laps old and Sinex are 5 laps old. However, Sinex has got a penalty. I'm not too sure what for. We'll find out shortly. Sinex's got a 6-second penalty. That is going to hurt him, considering that Lipilop, Jargon are within a second of him. Let's see what Lipilop can do now. Sinex going through, but let's skip here because it seems like it is very close. And Tasty Spoons has got a 5-second penalty and PTRS with a 3-second penalty. Now this is good for McLaren. If he can keep pushing through this, he may capitalise on a podium finish. He could be finishing P3. Haas may have just thrown away a pole position. We shall see. PTRS looks in control. However, Lewis penalty free and 6.6 seconds clear of the pack. He must be delightful on the final lap here. It seems that Lewis is going to be the winner of the Chinese Grand Prix if nothing does happen for Alfa Romeo. His teammate CPB Aiden, who we did speak to last race, he is currently in P7 racing against Snoopy.x. Seems like he might be going for an overtake. Once again, CPB's tyres are 6 laps old and 11 laps old, but Lewis is coming down. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and I believe it's Lukey Boy who has spun out. He needs to be careful re-entering that track. He can't be getting in the way of other cars, but he hasn't. It seems to be safe. Lewis is coming here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis takes it. P1 for Alfa Romeo there. Absolutely sensational from himself. And Lukey Boy is still finished. And PTRS P2. And Stan is taking P3. Tasty Spoons is P4. Oh, that must be devastating for Haas, but you know what? Unfortunately, that's the way the sport works. There we go then. PTRS has taken P2 and Stan with P3. Tasty Spoons P4, JH P5, CPB P6, Snoopy.x P7, Lone Ranger P8, Jargon P9, Lipilop P10, Sinex P11, Alec B P12, and Jack is going to be finishing P13, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, a finish. And driver of the day, CPB there. Very well done to him. What a superb race. Some quite controversial accidents happen in that Grand Prix, but thankfully all drivers are okay. And there we go. Lewis takes P1, and his, I would say, his main rival, PTS, is there second right next to him, making it very, very worthy to both these drivers that they are the ones to watch. So there we are after an extraordinary day of racing for the tier 1 drivers of our league. So far on the second round this season, Lewis takes it home for a P1 for Alfa Romeo. Second is PTRS for Racing Point. Stan getting into a podium position due to a penalty from Tasty Spoons. Tasty Spoons unfortunately goes 4th with his fellow teammate for Haas, JH 5th, CPB 6th, which will be taking some points home for him. Snoopy.x 7th, Lone Ranger 8th, Jargon 9th, Lipilop 10th, Sinex 11th, 12th Alec B, Jack 13th, and 14th for Lukey Boy. And unfortunately, the drivers who were unable to finish, Jello for McLaren, Stan Vestrella for AlphaTauri, and Gardra Hitter for Williams, both DNF'd. Well then, I hope you enjoyed that race. What we're going to do is now we're going to find the people who we want to interview so far. I believe that we'll be interviewing the pole sitter and hopefully someone who was just involved into the incidents which have happened. Absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational racing. And here he is, Lewis for Alfa Romeo, the winner of the Chinese Grand Prix. My friend, big congratulations for yourself. Absolutely stupendous drive. A big gap compared to the whole gap. How do you feel?
All right, it's quite straightforward, I guess. Good for
Straightforward.
your start.
Yeah. It was really good to see, mate. Honest to God. What do you think set you aside from the fellow drivers on the track today in China?
Everybody behind me, from I think probably after the first safety car, everybody was battling. I was obviously out in front, so I got a gap through that and
Yeah.
managed to just keep pace for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, mate, I have to comment on your driving yourself and also your pit strategy. You know, you fitted on to the tyres, soft tyres, to keep at it for the duration of the race. It was fantastic to see, and I believe you had at least a 7 second gap between the car behind you, which was PTRS. You know, that is just stupendous in my opinion, mate. One last question before you go, if that's okay. PTRS Racing Point, he got first in Vietnam Grand Prix and he just finished second between it. Would you say he is your main rival so far in the season?
Yeah, definitely. He's
Yeah.
good pace, good racecraft. He's fast.
Well,
So
I have to say, mate, Lewis, you have performed really well, mate. I'd be very proud of that. We're looking forward to seeing you race next weekend. A lot of practice for you. However, you know, I think the fans did enjoy it, and myself was thoroughly enjoying that race. So, big congratulations, mate, and I'm sure we will speak to you next week.
thank you.
Take care, mate. Bye bye.
You do. Bye.
And I think what we'll do is now we're going to have a look at Dion PTRS for Racing Point. Really good driving. And we'll just wait. PTRS, absolutely extraordinary race from him. Dion, PTRS, what I have to say to you is, mate, an extraordinary race from yourself again. Getting P2 from 14th to second in 5 laps. Absolutely superb, mate. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good.
Yeah, I would be as well, mate. You know, that was extraordinary racing from yourself. Really good racing. I was just speaking to Lewis then, the winner of the Chinese Grand Prix, and we were talking about yourself, and he has declared you as his main rival for this season. Is that a mutual thing? Would you say that he's your rival this season?
Well, yeah. He's totally my rival.
Yeah.
You can see in this race as well, he had amazing pace.
Of course.
After the safety car, he overtook P1 and just left. He
Yeah.
was gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put it down to at least a 7 second gap between yourself and him. What do you think you could have improved on this race? Do you think your pit strategy could have been a little bit better?
I think I pitted the same lap as Lewis to the mediums.
Yeah.
Then behind the safety car, I spun into turn 2.
Yeah.
So I had a red front wing.
Okay.
And then it was just like going to the shots and just see what happens.
Yeah, of course. Well, Dion, once again, mate, you've performed really well. You got P1 in Vietnam and P2 in China. You should be very, very happy, and your team should be very happy with that. It was really good watching your race, and I think we all look forward to watching you next week.
Yeah. Can't wait
Okay.
for it.
Cheers, Dion. Take care, PTRS.
Cheers.
Bye-bye, mate.
Bye.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that was PTRS there who did get P2. An extraordinary weekend for him. And we'll hopefully get 1 or 2 more interviews done. I want to try and interview Stan. Stan was the McLaren driver who managed to get P3 due to the penalty against Tasty Spoons. We're just waiting now to see. Stan the man, how are we, my friend?
I'm good. Just frustrated.
Yeah, well, we'll go into a bit more detail on that. However, what I have to say to you is, mate, a superb race for you in China. You know, from all the things what have been faced here, you will manage to snatch a podium finish from the Haas from Tasty Spoons due to the penalty. How do you feel it went for you today out there?
Well, despite of the problems I had with Snoopy closing the gap and putting me on the grass, I would
Yeah.
say going on the softs under the second safety car
Yeah,
was,
of
I think,
course.
was the smartest move for me, and I caught up. And
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit more time, maybe I could get second.
Of course, of course. So, unfortunately, Jello, your fellow teammate, had to retire from the race. Due to the live footage, we weren't able to find out what actually happened. Can you give us any feedback on what actually happened with Jello in the race?
I really don't know. He just wrote to me after that. I'm stupid. He wrote. So.
Oh,
I don't
right.
know,
I'm
maybe.
stupid.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but
I think
he had a great Vietnam race. So.
yeah, he had a really, really good. I have to say, I didn't interview either of you after the Vietnam race due to the schedule to hurry the race up. However, what I do have to say is a P2 and P3 finish for McLaren in Vietnam, and you getting P3 as well. That is a massive, massive achievement for you guys this weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Really,
Points for
really
the
good.
team.
Yeah, very good points for the team. So,
Yeah.
what is your... How do you guys feel coming into the next round next week? Obviously, we've got Netherlands and Spain. How do you feel about that?
I feel like Netherlands is one of my strong tracks. Spain is not my strongest
Yeah.
strongest track.
Yeah,
but,
so
I
a lot
know
of
with
practice.
my teammates.
Of
Yeah,
course.
with my teammates, we've done a lot of practice and we know a couple of tricks. So
Fantastic. Well, Stan, congratulations, mate. Really well performed this weekend. It was good seeing you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
yeah, you too, man.
Take care, my guy.
Yeah.
Sure I did. So that was Stan there for McLaren. Really, really good race from him. And then... So we'll try and get one more race done. Sorry, not one race. Apologies. An interview. I'd like to interview Tasty Spoons. Currently waiting. So who we're going to invite in now is JH, the fellow teammate of Tasty Spoons for Haas, and we'll try and discuss with him how the team feel regarding that. Hello?
Hello.
JH, how are you, my friend? Very, very good race from the Haas team this afternoon in Vietnam and in China. I have to say, how do you guys feel about your performance today?
Well, in Vietnam it was quite tricky, to be honest. Well, we I spawned on the first corner. I think I had wing damage and had to pit twice, but still finished I think sixth or seventh, so it was quite good for this.
Yeah.
And I don't quite remember what Tasty had in Vietnam, but I think he also had a good result. So we got a lot of points from Vietnam. So that
Yeah.
was great.
Of course, yeah.
And for China, it was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Like fourth and fifth, we got a lot of points. To be honest, it was great. And if I think if Tasty didn't get the penalty, then he would be second, I think. So, but I don't know why he got the penalty.
Yeah, of course. That was the next question I was going to ask you, JH, mate. Unfortunately, your teammate Tasty Spoons was in P3, comfortable. However, he did have a 5-second time penalty, and I think Stan was able to finish the race from 4.7, so it was just 0.3 seconds off that that podium finish for Tasty Spoons there. So obviously next weekend now we've currently got Netherlands and the Spanish Grand Prix. What is your opinions on the race for next week?
Well, Netherlands is going to be tricky for me, but I think if we practice a lot, if we try to understand the track and everything, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But for Spain, I think Spain is quite a strong track for me.
Yeah.
I don't know for Tasty, but I think it is also for him. So
yeah.
I think we will get good results in both of the tracks.
Very good, very good. And one last question before you go, my friend. So currently in the constructor standards, you're currently 5th. That's obviously going to update due to the weekend. However, who is 4th in front of you? Just 4th in front of you is Alfa Romeo, and Lewis, who is the first driver for Alfa Romeo, he got the podium finish in Chinese. What is your opinion on him as a driver, and who would you declare as your main rival out of teams this season so far?
Well, Lewis is a very quick driver. Like we can see, he has the fastest lap by I think 1 second or 500 seconds. So he's really quick. So I would say for the constructor championship, it's they will get quite a lot of points.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get fourth or third in the constructors right now because of all of the points we got.
Yeah.
And for me, I think the main rival. Well, I would say it's my teammate. To be honest, it's Tasty Spoons because we are quite similar in the pace, but of course in China he was quite a lot faster than me.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's my teammate that is my main rival.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's always good to do, mate. Having your teammate as your main rival, it gets the best out of both drivers. Well, that's all from us. JH, thank you very much for the last interview, mate. We look forward to seeing you next weekend, and good luck for the rest of the week in practice and testing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care, my friend.
See you.
Bye. And there we have it, folks. That is the end of the Virtual Racing League live stream for the Tier 1 drivers. That was round 2. Make sure to tune in for tomorrow's Tier 2 driving round 2. So Tier 2, you will see myself and all drivers. It should be exciting for the second round. And I believe we have got Jack and Aiden, who we're going to be commentating for the Tier 2 drivers for tomorrow. However, if you are unable to make it, then make sure you're back here next weekend, next Saturday at 4 o'clock GMT time for another Tier 1 driver racing, which will be the 9th of January with Netherlands and Spain. It will be a good one. But from myself, it has been great hosting this, commentating and sharing this experience with you. Take care and make sure to follow all social media accounts to keep involved, or if you are interested in joining any race teams, then make sure to join the Discord below. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed.